Hi, I'm Rebecca from conquerbooks.com, and today we are talking about Wanderers, What Happened in August. So Wanderers is Chuck Wendig's pandemic book, and it's a very interesting thing to be reading in the midst of a pandemic. And I have been reading it in real time. So the book starts in June. We did July, now we're in August. So every month I've been posting a summary of what happens. There definitely are spoilers. There'll be some spoilers in this video as well. If you are looking for a spoiler-free summary of the book, kind of a little synopsis, Nicole and I did one last year when the book first came out. So I'll link to that below, as well as June and July summaries. So July and June were pretty hefty, and especially July, 4th of July, man, a lot of things went down. There were a lot of good details there. But for August, it's actually just 4 pages in the middle of this book. So I read it today while I was making lunch, not even like while I was sitting at the table eating lunch or something. I read it like while things were cooking on the stove. Very quick to read. So if you are interested in reading along, reading the book kind of real time, reading these summer chapters while you yourself are experiencing summer, it's a good time to get caught up because August is very, very light. However, the sleepwalking flock covers a lot of ground. They go from Montana to Oregon, and we don't get a whole lot of hefty details concerning the plot or concerning our main point of view characters, but we do get these snapshots of what the world is like, how it's slowly evolving. And when I think of August, I usually think of it in terms of like, you know, it's the dog days of summer. It's very close to school time or changes at work. You know, things are kind of wearing on and you're thinking about what the fall, what the future is going to be like. And I think that feeling is really captured here, that time is passing. They're trying to get a handle on what this virus, what this pandemic looks like, similar to what we're trying to do here. The things that we do see are some short summaries of things that the shepherds, the people who are walking with these sleepwalking infected individuals, see. And it's things like signs outside of a store, like, you know, please don't come in here if you have a cough, you know, God bless America, wear your mask, stuff that we're kind of seeing right now. But then also people out and about in masks, people looking sick, people getting seriously sick. You get the sense that things are kind of closing, slowly encroaching, and the sleepwalkers, if you remember, are different than the people who are actually legitimately sick. And that's the illness called white mask, where they have essentially this fungus that's growing into their brain and it settles into your body. You know, you don't know that you have anything going on. And so you're going about your daily life for months spreading this illness around. And that's one of the ways that Chuck Wendig, the author, could really make this believable, that it just like overtook the world quickly, and yet in a very slow way because nobody knew what to be looking for. And so people are fine for a couple of months, and then what happens in the illness is they start to develop kind of like a cold, and then they start to develop symptoms kind of related to dementia. They're forgetting things, they don't really connect with their world, they're not quite sure what is going on, and then eventually white mask is pushing more and more into your brain, and either that's what kills you, or the symptoms related to dementia, that you're not taking care of your body, you're getting, you know, lost in the forest. And so we start seeing this encroaching on our main point of view characters, that they are starting to see people who have this, and you get the sense that it's like on, you know, a tipping point. It's just gonna like smash the entire world. Like the way that this really just like dominates people, you get the sense that the world is, a lot's going to happen here in the next couple chapters. We really only get 2 updates concerning our main point of view characters, and that's Pete Corley and Shanna. And with Pete Corley, so remember, he's like this, you know, rock god who's old and dried up, washed out. He goes where the cameras are, which is at the sleepwalking flock, and he gets stuck where he is because he's gone there, and he calls his family and they don't want him to come home because they are concerned that he himself is sick or carrying the sleepwalking virus now, which is separate than white mask. And we find out that his wife and his kids are going to head up to the grandparents' house in like upstate New York, this big mansion, and just kind of like hunker down, wait the virus out. And the in-laws don't want Pete to come. And so he was chasing this media attention, but now he has nowhere else to go. And we don't hear this from Pete himself or inside his head. It's actually from a description of a photograph that we can assume Shanna took. You know, last month we found out that Shanna was growing more and more interested in photography and more engaged in trying to piece together the story of what is happening here through photographs. The other good little detail we get is from Shanna, and it's again another description of a photograph. There's this picnic table that has all of these carvings and engravings, you know, love letters, you know, hate notes, phone numbers, all kinds of graffiti garbage, but Shanna's hand is in the middle of it, and it has a positive pregnancy test in it. And we know that she was seeing a fellow from the CDC who is kind of in the CDC convoy. And there's nothing like getting pregnant at the end of the world, you know, ramp up those stakes there. Good job, Chuck Wendig. So we only get those two details. Other than that, we just get this sense that things are about to happen in a big way for the virus. We've had some very interesting events happen, but now we're really going to see the world overtaken by the virus. And to me, you know, thinking about where we are, you know, we're waiting for, in real life, we're waiting for schools to make their decisions. We're waiting to see what happens in different areas of the country with coronavirus. And, you know, every 2 weeks, we're kind of looking back like, oh, this is what made this happen, or go up and down. And so you get the sense that the characters in this book are going through the same thing. Obviously, this is a fictional book, which we are very fortunate because it's a lot more frightening than the one that we're going through in real life, as frightening as that is. And I think a lot of us now have a few people in our network that have coronavirus. You know, it's the same thing. We are getting a sense that things are getting smaller, things are encroaching on us, and we have to make some big decisions. So I will be doing next month as well. September is another good sized chunk of the book. It's not 4 pages like August was. But if you are interested in reading about pandemics during this time, I would really recommend this book because I think it's a very interesting mirror of America and how Americans respond to problems. And it's almost a relief, the terrible things that happen in fiction, that they don't happen to us in real life, right? Whenever you're going through a bad time, or whenever you're seeing things in the real world that are concerning you, it's a nice escape to be able to read something as horrific as this and say, ah, yes, at least that is not happening to us. So thank you if you're going about wearing a mask. If you are not yet wearing mask in your day-to-day life out and about, please get a cool mask and start wearing it immediately. I have a mask that matches my daughter and a mask that matches the one that my son wears. I have a mask with squirrels. My husband has one with flamingos on it. So that is something that you should have been doing yesterday. So get your mask today. We are all in pandemic mode. Start reading pandemic books. Start treating this pandemic like a real pandemic. I'll be back in September otherwise. Please, in the comments, let me know if you're reading Wanders, if you've read it in the past. I'm curious to know what other people think about it. This was my favorite book from 2019, so I'd love to discuss it with you. All right, bye.